Okay, guys, so I've not done a book review before, but we're going to give this a shot. And I'm sorry, my hair is all over my head. Guys, it's a mess. I need to get my hair done like everybody else in the country. So, we are going to talk about a series of books. So, I've pulled up my Audible app so I can show you. Let me see if I can get it turned around so you can see it. The series I'm talking about is called A Discovery of Witches, and the other book is called, let me see if I can pull that one up.
This is Audible.
The second book in the series is called Shadow of Night. The third book in the series is called The Book of Life. So these are the three books that I want to talk to you about. I am so excited to tell you about these books because I love this series. So let me give you a little background. I have a very good friend. Her name is Liz. And me and Liz like similar books. And so she told me about this set of books a while back. It was probably more than a year ago. And I was like, no, that doesn't sound like my cup of tea. And I didn't read them. Then I started listening to a podcast called What Should I Read Next? And the premise of this podcast is the lady interviews different people each week or each episode, and they tell her 3 books they like, 1 book they hate, and then she recommends books that they should read next. And I started listening to her podcast. I love the podcast. And I would hear the same books over and over. People have read books that she would recommend based on their previous reading. And this set of books kept popping up. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot. And so I said something to my friend Liz. I was like, I'm reading these books. They're really good. And she was like, well, what are the names of them? And I was like, it's A Discovery of Witches. And she's like, I've been trying to get you to read those for a long time. And I was like, well, I'm reading them. I heard somebody refer to them as the adult version of Twilight. I don't feel that that is an accurate description of these books. Yes, they have Twilight-esque things to them as far as the main character. One is a vampire and one is a witch. And where that is predominant throughout the book and the whole series, it is not truly what it is all about. I feel, this is my take on the book. Everybody takes away something different when they read a book, and this is my take on the book. I feel like it is a beautiful love story. It is also a book about differences. And I don't mean differences as far as race. That's not what I'm talking about. The differences are what each person is. So you have witches, and you do have vampires, and you have demons. And these are a different subspecies of humans, type of human. It's humans, demons, witches, and vampires. And the witches, vampires, and demons are not allowed to intermingle. Pretty much they shouldn't be friends. They shouldn't be attracted to each other, that kind of thing. So it's overcoming a lot of different things. And so they're all 3 interested in the Book of Life. And the Book of Life is a book that's not been seen for years. And now one of the characters has the opportunity to find this book. And I'm not going to say anything more about that because it'll give away a lot of stuff. So the first book, Diana meets Matthew. And those are the main characters. Diana's parents, she lost them when she was very young, and she was raised by her aunts. And Matthew is a vampire, and he is also a doctor. They're both doctors. One's a doctor has her doctorate in history, and the other one has a doctorate in doctoring. It's just a doctor. Guys, I'm not good at this. All I can tell you is the love story is amazing. And they have to overcome a lot of obstacles. They aren't even supposed to love each other because it's forbidden. They are not... there's just a lot of obstacles in their way. And I feel like this book is teaching you how to overcome prejudice that you may have or you don't know you have, and things that are said by society. I kind of got a lot of that from these books. I feel like once you start reading the books, you will be, for me, I say I'm addicted to these books. I can't put them down. I have read the series twice. I have listened on Audible twice. They are now being, a series has been generated. I have watched the series through Sundance. I don't know what is going to be released on the second series, if it's going to be released under Sundance, or I'm not sure what threshold. I don't know what platform. I don't know what they're going to be released at, but that's where I have watched it. And I think it depends on your area of the country or what country you're in where you can watch these. But I have watched the series twice. The first time I read it really quickly because I just got so involved in the books, and it's the whole story. It's the falling in love. It is finding yourself. It is overcoming all the obstacles that is put in your way. And it's all the stories along the way. It is, guys, I don't want to say a whole lot because I don't want to give away the book. But the first book touches on the love story, the beginning love story of the two main characters, Diana and Matthew. And it is overcoming obstacles that is continually put in their way. And it's a little bit of greed, a whole lot of greed, that everybody wants this particular book, the Book of Life, that everybody wants it. And they want it for themselves. And that is not what Diana wants. And so the first part is the beginning, and it is setting up the next chapter, if you will, in the second book. It is just an amazing set. I want to, The Shadow of Night, I want to make sure I get the titles right, is the second in the series. And it is a continuation. When you finish the first book, you're like, guys, I'm going to tell you, if I had read these books as they were being written, I couldn't have done it. I needed to have them all finished because you're going to want to go to the very next book because you want to know what's going to happen. And I couldn't have done it if I had to wait for the book to come out. So I'm glad I picked these books up when I did. So the first book ends, and you immediately want to go to the second book. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the second book. And this, guys, if this is a spoiler alert for you and you've not read them, I'm not going to give enough away that you know the story, but Shadow of a Night takes place in a different era. I'm just going to say that. There are differences, and this puts you in a time that it is a struggle, and it makes Diana and Matthew really come together, and you see their love evolved. In the first one, you see parts of it, and you see that they are in love. The second book, you see that love develop. And the struggles that they have to go through. She discovers her powers, and she needs to learn how to use her powers because she had never wanted to use her powers in the first book. She's very adamant that she is a witch, but she doesn't want to be a witch as far as using her powers are concerned. So this is a person who is struggling to come out as her own person. And so you start seeing that in the second book. You see her overcoming those struggles and moving forward, but you also see her moving forward with the love that she has for Matthew. And it is still the prejudice with the covenant and all that surrounds that. And in the second book, the characters, and I'm not going to tell you who the characters are, you will know it as soon as you start reading it. But there are other characters are introduced that are trying to, some are trying to help grow Diana into a witch. And there are some that are trying to help Matthew and Diana's love blossom. And there are some that are pulling against that. So you have all of these things that are going on in these books, and they can take, if one thing is changed, it could take everybody down a different road. I think that is why these books are so very good. The third book is called The Book of Life, and this book kind of completes the first trilogy. These books will continue. There is a fourth book called Time's Convert, and it does carry on that part of the book, but it also goes down the family tree a different way, and it's Matthew's sired son, because he is a vampire. You have to remember that. And so this is Marcus's story, and so it will take you down a different road. So this series is not ending, and I know she's in the process of writing the fifth book, and the author, if I did not tell you, is Deborah Harkness. She has a Facebook page. Guys, she's awesome. And so this series will continue. I'm looking to see how much time I've already used. Okay. But the Book of Life is a kind of a completion of Diana and Matthew. And things separate them. And they have to stay true to themselves, and they have to stay true to each other. And it is a very hard struggle. And in my mind, I equate the separation that they have is, for lack of a better analogy, is being separated when military families and the husband or the wife is deployed overseas, and they have this big separation, and it's that struggle to overcome those odds being separated from each other. So you have that separation, and then you have them working together, still trying to overcome things that are going on physically with each other, and Diana still trying to move forward and finding the book of life. It is trying to overcome issues that are even in the family. So even more issues come up, and it's the struggle of things that happen that you have no control over, but now you have to live with those consequences. So it is a lot of things. Oh my gosh, guys, if there's one book that I can recommend, this is it. This whole series of books is really wonderful. So, guys, give it a shot. Really, truly try the very first book, A Discovery of Witches. I think once you start this book, it's going to be one of those books you can't put down. I hope it is for you. I know everybody has a different taste, and I know some books I try to get into, and they're highly recommended, and I don't like them. But I really think this book is for those people that like romance. It's for those people who like, I don't know what genre it is, but vampires and witches and the uncanny. It is for those who like history. There's a lot of history in these books, but it's not given to you in doses that are, let me teach you history. It's given to you in bits and pieces that you can digest it, and it makes the story even that much more interesting. So guys, these books, I can't say it's a one genre book because it really is, it's heartwarming. At times I would cry while I was reading this book, and sometimes I would just, you would just laugh. There was little spots here and there that just make you chuckle, and the whole premise is wonderful. And I'm not going to tell you any more than that. And guys, I just hope you will give this set of books a shot. If you've read them, leave me a comment below. If they're on your reading list, leave me a comment. Tell me what you thought of these books. If you didn't like them, that's okay, because you know everybody doesn't like everything. So guys, just give it a shot, and until next time, I hope you keep reading, and until next time, guys, bye bye.